on who you up here with?
What do you mean?
The guy said that you were yelling at him.
What guy?
The guy right around the corner here.
Who's the guy?
Or are you sitting here waiting on somebody else, or what's going on?
Who's the guy?
The guy inside our property here trying to pick up the grill.
I don't have to answer any questions. Have I committed a crime?
No, but we're trying to find out what's going on.
What's your name and badge number, sir?
Lieutenant Hargrove.
Okay, I don't have to answer any questions. I'm not committed a crime.
What happened over there?
There was a vehicle in front of my vehicle.
He was just trying to get in.
Well, I didn't know that.
That's all he's trying to do.
I didn't. He told me that. So what's the problem?
He was asking me what was going on with you. He thought you were yelling at him because he was an officer out here. And I was like, I don't think any officers out here.
Why would I yell at him because he's an officer?
No, he said he thought you were
Sir,
an officer.
can you get your hand out my face and step away from me?
What?
Can you get your hand out your face? Can you get your hand out my face and step?
Sir, my
give me
hand's already
space.
here.
Give me space, sir.
I've got plenty of space for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
okay.
Are you here?
I'm in my vehicle. A vehicle pulled up in front of my vehicle, blocking me in.
He was just trying to get in.
He explained that to me, so I'm trying to figure out why you're here.
Because he thought you were an officer because you were shining a light in his car.
I never said I was an officer, sir.
You had a light. He thought you were an officer. That's why I came out here. So I don't have any idea who was out here.
It was dark. I was just trying to see who it was that was blocking my vehicle in case I need to give a description.
Miscommunication is all it was.
It wasn't miscommunication. I just asked him a question.
Okay. But he didn't know who you were. He thought you were something else. That's all we got to get to.
Okay, that's fine. I just didn't appreciate you pulling up in a vehicle that's not even a marked police vehicle.
That's my patrol car I got to drive around in.
Sir, it's not marked. So I got all these.
That is my unit right there I have to drive. Look, I'm in class uniform.
Sergeant.
I'm a lieutenant. I'm not a sergeant.
Okay, lieutenant. A vehicle pulls up in front of me. I simply asked what was going on. That was it.
Okay. He thought y'all had a miscommunication. That's all it was with y'all two. All right? That's all it was.
Is this a casual encounter or am I being detained?
Why are you being detained?
I'm just asking the question, sir.
You're free to leave whenever you want to.
Okay. Okay. All right.
All right. But we still got to find out what's going on in the parking lot. That's all we had to do.
Okay.
And we could have had a simple conversation, said this what was happening. You know, you didn't know who he was. He didn't know who you were. That's simple.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Have a good day, sir.
You too.
Be here.
Man, so the life of the targeted individual, the hardships that the targeted individual faces is 10 times greater than that of the average person. It's so sad. Now, I'm posting this video. This happened back in 2021, and I've already posted another police encounter video that I had with another police department in a different county, in Alachua County, I believe. And one second. So pay attention to the date. Basically, the reason why I'm at this police department is because I was transitioning from one Airbnb to the next. Okay. Usually when I travel to Airbnbs, I travel at night for the sake of, weeding out the gang stalking traffic, the shenanigans that they like to do in the daytime, the orchestrated traffic and stuff like that. It weeds a lot of that out. It's less stress. Okay. And you can also clearly see who's out here participating in the vehicular stalking as well. You can see that a lot better at night because most of the world is asleep at night, right? Granted, you have some people that work overnight and stuff like that, truckers that are transporting and stuff like that, but for the most part, most of everybody's in their homes. But when you're a targeted individual, it doesn't matter. You're watched and surveilled 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They always have people out at whatever time to make sure that they, are observing you and trying to pull off whatever shenanigan they're trying to pull off. So anyways, pay attention to this date. I was part of this police station because I was trying to wait for the next day to get to my Airbnb. My reservation wasn't until I want to say 4 p.m. the next day or something like that. My check-in wasn't until later. So I was parked in my vehicle. I was trying to get some sleep so that I could, wait for my next Airbnb reservation to come about. So that's why I'm at this police department to begin with, okay? Pay attention to the date, December 18, 2021. If you guys remember, I posted a video about a month back of an encounter I had where I was at a CVS. Look at the date here, December 18, 2021. So this was that encounter that I posted a month back where I was at the CVS and perps were dispatched to this location. I'm sure you guys remember this video because it was really good evidence of what we talk about as targeted individuals of being sought after by these agent provocateurs sent out by the government, okay? So I'm just connecting the dots. That's why I'm just trying to show the date. there's no coincidences with targeted individuals and what they go through, okay? All of this shit all occurred the same night. So this was part of this video that I didn't put on here because, you know, this video was already almost an hour long. So I said I'm going to post this police encounter I had the same night on another video. So this ties in to my encounter that I had at this CVS, okay? All right, so I just want to make that clear. Let me go ahead and show my Airbnb information. These are all the places I've been through in Florida, all the cities I've been through, and Airbnbs I've stayed at. So this is clearly a person who's fleeing persecution. All right. And this is the Airbnb I was at to start off with. That night, it had ended December 18th. Okay. Look at the date. This is the police encounter in Winter Haven, Florida. I went to Winter Haven that night, December 18th. Look at the date on this CVS encounter. Okay. December 18th. So all this shit occurred that same night that I was transitioning from this Airbnb to the next Airbnb in Winter Haven, Florida. Okay? So I just want to connect the dots there. So if we go back to the police video, okay, so basically I explained everything in the video. A truck pulled up in front of my vehicle. You know how perps like to rendezvous with us and we don't know who the fuck they are and they like to act like they're meeting up with us, and the unwitting person looking in, they will think, oh, these people know each other. They're huddled up meeting. No, we're being stalked and harassed. A lot of people don't even know that. Okay? This truck pulls up out of nowhere. This is an empty police station parking lot. Pulls up in front of me. It's not a marked truck saying that it's a police, anything having to do with police, okay? This big truck, okay, engine running and all that. Parks in front of my vehicle, sideways, right, like crossway, okay? Naturally, anybody in that situation is going to want to know what's going on. They want to see who's in the vehicle, what's going on, why is this person parked in front of me. Just because it's a police station does not mean that crimes cannot be committed at police stations. There are plenty of videos where people have gone into police stations with guns and shot up the place, and you have officers had to come out and subdue the people, okay? So anywhere you go, you have to make sure you watch your surroundings and you pay attention to what's going on. So naturally, I get out my car. I have a high-powered flashlight. Okay, I worked in security. I have all my equipment still, high-powered flashlight. I train the flashlight into the vehicle just so I could see who it is, so I could at least get a description of a person in case something happens. What's one of the things that police officers do when they're conducting investigations? They want to know if you got a description of the perp, right? So that's what I was doing. Okay, it's pitch black, it's dark. I want to know what's going on. That's it. The dude explained to me he was waiting to get in the gate. I'm like, what gate? He pointed to the gate that he's talking about. I see the gate. I'm like, okay. That was pretty much it. It wasn't no big deal. I did have to speak loudly to this dude because his engine was loud, okay? And I wanted to make sure he could hear what I was saying. So there's a difference between screaming at a person out of anger or being emotional and you just trying to make sure the person can hear you. There's a clear difference between that. But clearly this guy must have exaggerated to the police that I screamed at him, which is always so illegal, you know, because he was waiting to get in some fucking gate that I didn't even know about. Like I'm not familiar with this police station. I've never been there before. You know what I mean? So I didn't know what was going on. But anyways, it's all part of the gaslighting and street theater. These people get alerts everywhere we go. People know who we are, so it's all a bunch of bullshit. So that's what warranted this encounter with this actual lieutenant. So that's what you see here in the video. Okay? So I just wanted to give further explanation to that. This lieutenant was actually in the process of trying to put hands on me. I believe he was. He knew that I had a body cam on from the start because he had a flashlight. So he was able to see that I had the body cam.
Who are you up here with?
He's like, what are you doing? And at that point is when I believe he saw my body cam, okay? Now, he tried to manipulate his positioning. If you notice, he did cut off his flashlight, you know, just so he could try to work around my body cam and try to put his hand in my face, you know, to try to ensue some sort of assault or to try to say, oh, I hit his hand or something like that, okay? So he was trying to be slick. So if you see the part where I was like, hey, you need to back up, you need to get your hand out my face, that's what he was doing. He was trying to get around my camera so that he could try to like put his hands on me in a real covert way, okay? Let me play that part real quick.
What do you mean?
The guy.
There was a vehicle in front of my vehicle.
He was just trying to get in.
Well, I didn't know that.
That's all he's trying to do.
Hand out your face. So what's the problem?
he was asking me what was going on with you. He thought you were yelling at him because he was an officer out here. And I was like, I don't think any officers out here.
Why would I yell at him because he's an officer?
No, he said he thought you were
Sir,
an
can
officer.
you get your hand out my face and step away from me?
What?
Can you get your hand out your face? Can you get your hand out my face and step?
Sir, my
give me
hand's already
space.
here.
Give me space, sir.
I've got plenty of space for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And see, that's a tactic they use to try to elicit some sort of response out of you so they can find a reason to put you under arrest or to assault you. Okay, so he was he was way too close to me for comfort. You don't have to be that close to have a conversation with me if that's what was going on, okay? So that's why I had to tell him to back up off of me and give me space, all right? So the whole thing was exaggerated. This guy went and cried to the police that I screamed at him, this big-ass NFL football player size looking dude. He had some other lady in the car with him as well. But I'm like, shit, what do you expect to happen? You're parked in front of somebody's vehicle, blocking them off. You don't expect for somebody to say something and try to figure out what's going on? So you guys let me know if I was in the wrong. But like I said, these people get contacted and they orchestrate these events around the targeted individual all the time. Okay? So it is my belief that is exactly what this situation was. And again, the only reason why I was parked at this police station is because had I parked anywhere else, they would have sent some people saying, oh, you can't park here, you're trespassing, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, I'm going to save the taxpayer some money, and I'm going to go ahead and park in the police station parking lot. And look what happened, okay? There's no coincidence with any of these things. There's no such thing as coincidences with targeted individuals, okay? So I just wanted to make that clear. Now, moving on. To show you an example of how these people know who we are as targeted individuals, because people want to say that we're crazy, we're paranoid, no one's out to get you, all this kind of thing. But I'm going to show you concrete proof of these people knowing who we are before we even get to their location. In this case, it was Airbnb reservations with a few, not every single one of them, but there's a few cases where I had correspondence with them initially trying to make sure that they had the proper equipment that I needed to make sure that I have solid internet connection for my for the type of work that I do. Okay, so that's paramount when I go to these B&B locations. They have to have good high-speed internet because my employer requires an Ethernet cord connection directly into the modem because they have their own VPN that they use. Okay, I can't use Wi-Fi at all with this job. All right, so let me just go to the correspondence. This is me corresponding with the person that runs the Airbnb in Winter Haven. So let's go here. Okay. The lady's name is Louise. What you'll notice is the Airbnb ad doesn't have her name listed in there. So who the fuck is this lady to begin with? Okay. That was one thing that I noticed after the fact. Usually somebody that you deal with at the Airbnb, their name is going to be listed on their listing for the property, right? Now, this Danica lady is actually the one that runs the show. She's the one that actually owns all the properties, but she has, I guess this lady is the one that welcomes the host, and she's the one that makes sure she basically does the property management from what I was told, okay? So her name wasn't even listed on the Airbnb site to begin with, okay? So that was kind of suspicious to me. This is this Danica lady right here, this old lady right here. One second, let me scroll down so you can get a better... Will it? That's her, okay? She owns other properties around Florida and stuff like that. So she was the one that actually owns the property. And then she was having this lady here, you know, pretty much handle everything that was going on at the properties, okay? So just to give you some, you know, context and background. So look here. I says, hi, Danica, I have a work from home job that requires an Ethernet connection to my employer's computer. Would I be able to connect via modem with Ethernet? Also, does the room I would be staying in have a desk? This is Louise. Hello, Ochu. Now, there is nowhere on my account where my name Ochu shows up at all, okay? Nowhere. The only thing that the Airbnb host sees is your first name, and that's it. And they can see what information was verified. Anthony's confirmed information, identity, email address, and phone number. They don't even see your phone number. Okay, anything that is communicated, for those of you that are familiar with the Airbnb, you know that any communication that you have with the host is going to be through this means. Okay, it's going to be through the Airbnb's app communication. Okay, so where does she get the name Ochu? Where does she get Ochu from? Okay, ochu1981@gmail.com. That is one of my email addresses, okay? That is the email address that I use for my YouTube channel. All right? So that is part of my email address. So again, I want to be clear in saying that my email address is not listed on my Airbnb account in such a manner where it's visible to the host, okay? As a matter of fact, when I Googled, can an Airbnb host see my email address, this is the information you get. For everyone's security, you should always communicate through Airbnb. We keep your info secure, and we never share your email, even with your host or guest, after you have confirmed reservation. If anyone sends you a message on Airbnb, you'll get an email notification at the address you used to sign up. But that address that you used to sign up is not visible to that host. Furthermore, I contacted Airbnb because I'm a thorough person, and when I do my investigations, I like to be thorough. I contacted Airbnb, and I have a recorded conversation with the Airbnb customer service rep, and this is what was said.
Hi, thank you so much for contacting Airbnb. You are speaking with Marvin. Can you please help me with your first and your last name?
No, that's okay. I just had a general question. Can an Airbnb host see the email address of an Airbnb account holder of the guest?
Okay, so can you please let me know, like, are you a host with an Airbnb or is the guest with Airbnb? Because we can't provide any information without an account authentication.
So I can't be provided information pertaining to whether or not a host can see the email address of the guest account holder?
And mind you, that's a general question. I'm not calling to get account information or account details of any sort. It's a simple general question that can be answered without having to be verified, okay? Because if you can go on Google and ask, and Google can give you that information, surely you can call the customer service line and they can also give you the same information as well without you having to identify or verify whatever.
If you are a host with Airbnb and you just want to, like, check the email address of the guest who will be booking into your place, you can't get it. You can't see the email address. You can just see it is verified or not.
Okay, so the host cannot see the email address of the guest account holder. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you. What was your name?
My name is Martin.
And this is Airbnb customer service, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, so there you have it. I got clarification from the Airbnb customer service line. I also saw the same information on Google. So there is no way that they could have gotten my name, Ochu. One second. Okay, from my email address because my email address is not listed. So how did they get this name? Okay, so this ties into what I was saying before, how people are getting alerts whenever the targeted individual comes to a certain area. Okay, the people around that targeted individual, they get memos sent out to their email addresses by way of the emergency broadcasting system. This is something that recently just came to my mind. They recently had, I'm sure you guys got this alert as well, beginning of this month. I want to say the day was October 4th, if I'm not mistaken, of this year. They did a nationwide test of the emergency broadcasting system where they sent out this massive alert, just letting people know they're testing it out, making sure it's working. I'm pretty sure that same measure, that same system is used for targeted individuals. Okay, they will send out an emergency broadcasting system message to everyone except the target, notifying people that this is a person that is listed as a potential terrorist and should be watched for potential terrorist activity. I'm not making this shit up. Governor DeSantis of the state of Florida said this. I posted this video back a week or so ago of Governor DeSantis saying it himself. Let's listen to it.
Both parties.
Under both parties.
Yeah, and you've been very
100%.
consistent in saying that.
But you also have the issue of our voters and many of these congressmen have talked about the abuse of power by federal agencies like the FBI surveilling moms going to school board meetings or having memos circulating that say observant Catholics are potential terrorists, weaponized.
Observing Catholics as potential terrorists. Don't that sound like something that they do to targeted individuals? Whatever the narrative is or whatever the slander or lie that they're trying to perpetrate, or prey upon the target rather, okay? They send those memos out saying, "Oh, this person is a pedophile." What are some of the lies? We're a pedophile. We're drug dealers. We're pimps. We're engaging in fraud. We're human traffickers. Okay, this is the type of shit that they send out via the emergency broadcasting system. I'm pretty sure of it. Okay, so going back over here, that's why I wanted to point this out, because these people get alerts as to who we are. They're given certain information. In this case, they gave them my name of that I use for my Gmail account and part of my name that's on my YouTube channel. And this isn't the only guest that this has happened with, okay? This happened, I mean, the only host rather that this has happened with. Here's another host. This was one of the first times I was making inquiries about Airbnb stays, just trying to figure out where I wanted to stay. This guy, Shedrick, his Airbnb listing was in Orlando, Florida, okay? This is my intro. Hello, Shedrick. I have a work from home job and my computer requires hardwired internet connection, blah, blah, blah. Just like I introed with the other lady at Winter Haven. Look at what he says. "Hey, Ochu." I'm just stopping it right there. How does he know to call me Ochu when you look on my account and it says about Anthony? And this is all the host sees. It don't say nothing about no damn Ochu. Okay? Nothing. This is what they see, that their identity was confirmed, because when you get an Airbnb account, you have to submit your license, your ID. They confirm that. You have to have a valid email address, which is the ochu1981 at Gmail account that I use, and you have to have a valid phone number. The host can't even see your fucking phone number. Okay? The only means of communication that you have with the host is via the Airbnb's messaging system that they have within the app. That's it. So this is another concrete proof that these people got alerted prior to my arrival at their residence to fulfill my Airbnb stay. I just wanted to point that out. Next. Furthermore, so going back over here real quick. So I arrived at my Airbnb, right? And this lady is the host. Again, her name is not on this listing, so I don't even know why I'm even dealing with her, okay? Because she's not officially listed on here. But I get to the property, right? Now, mind you, this police encounter that happened was before I got. Let me go back to that actual video right here.
What are you doing on?
This was the night before I was to go to this Airbnb in Winter Haven. So when I finally get to that Airbnb, 1 second. Here, this is it right here. Now, the title of this is wrong. This wasn't the Airbnb in Lakeland yet. Okay, it transitioned into that, but let me correct this, because this is Winter Haven. Okay, so that title for that was incorrect. But this was me knocking on the door. I had slept in my vehicle overnight because, see, when I go to Airbnbs, I like to check in late at night. I don't want to come across any other guests that could be potential perps trying to get in my way or start some shit. So I always like to show up late at night. And I let them know in advance, like, hey, I'm running behind, or I'll make something up. Be like, I can't check in until like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. And always, they're always like, okay, that's fine. You know, they always let me do it. So, but when I got to the Airbnb at that time, she didn't answer her phone, or I guess she fell asleep. So I ended up having to sleep in the parking lot of the Airbnb. Okay, so this is where I parked my car and I slept, and I had to wait until morning time to finally get in and get checked in. So this is me. Okay, so this is where I'm actually trying to get established in the Airbnb. I had arrived. I had spent the night in my vehicle because I had already told her that I was going to be there late. But then when I got there, she didn't answer her phone, so I ended up having to sleep in my vehicle on the Airbnb property until I was able to finally reach her in the morning to get settled in. Okay, so that's what this video is right here.
Oh, you're still on the phone? Okay.
Okay. So I didn't play this portion of it because at some point I used the restroom in there and I forgot to cut my camera off. So I'm not gonna put me going to the bathroom on YouTube. But so yeah, this is me in the house. I'm trying to get settled in.
What was it? Oh no, I was just trying to figure out if everything was all set. Yeah, give me a moment. Okay. Because I'm still on this call.
See, it's a bunch of bullshit and delay. Like, what's the holdup? Okay, when you get to the Airbnb, you're shown to your room, right? But she's just stalling and just I don't know what the fuck's going on. All right, so there's a lot of quiet time and me waiting, so I'm not gonna play all of that. I'm just trying to get to the point to where she's basically trying to get extra information out of me that
we
okay. So I'm just trying to get to the point to where this lady is stalling me checking in because she's trying to get all this other additional information about me, which is none of her business. She's trying to find out where I work, where I came from, and all this old kind of shit. And I'm like, look, I've been verified on the B&B app. The only thing you need to do is show me to my room, and that's it. Okay? And I had not dealt with no shit like this at any other Airbnb that I had been to. Okay? People have always just straight up shown me my room, the bathroom, other amenities and things that I'm allowed to use in the house, and then that's it. But this woman was taking it to another level. Let me continue playing.
Okay, so what's going on?
I said, did you see my text message?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's because you mentioned that your employer is near Lakeland.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, who's your employer? Like, we get truck drivers, we get everybody here. So I was just like, you said that you want to be in Lakeland because you're closer to your employer. So I was like, who's...
Is there like an issue or a problem or something?
No.
I made my payment.
No, I know you made your payment. the thing is that you said you're in wholesale.
Correct.
Right? And that's not an industry. We ask everybody. I mean, you're going to be staying at our place. So I was just like.
And it makes you wonder what kind of criminal activity are these people involved in that they're so anal about wanting to get all this additional information about you. Where do you work? Where did you come from? Now, granted, it's known that you can have conversations with people that you meet initially, and it's a natural thing to ask, "Oh, what do you do for work?" or where'd you come from and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm not saying that it's abnormal, but the fact that she's pushing so hard for it, and clearly I don't care to, I'm not comfortable, or nor do I care to give her that information, is just extremely odd to me. Okay.
Like
I wasn't. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Okay, so it's a question, and if you, because that's the other thing we ask, why people are visiting, and we also one of the stipulations of the whole.
And I told this lady, I already answered her question before. I'm traveling through different parts of Florida. I want to experience different parts of Florida because I'm trying to figure out where I'm trying to settle. Okay? And it's actually listed. One second. All this bullshit, man. Just nonstop. In the intro up here, Friendly, but very shy, quiet, and private. Not into small talk. I'm a good mix between a loner and introvert. Currently traveling through and exploring Florida. It's listed in my bio. Okay. Just traveling through and exploring Florida, basically. So the fact that she's just constantly trying to fucking, let me go back here.
Most is that first and foremost, people who don't have reviews, that's concerning. And you don't have a review.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Remember yesterday when we spoke and you asked me where I came from? You remember when I told you that my first time getting an Airbnb
Yes.
was before I came here? So I wouldn't have a review if my first time was in Kissimmee.
Okay.
And I told you yesterday, and I recorded our conversation, by the way. I told you yesterday that I was there for a month.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when you leave an Airbnb, you usually get a message from Airbnb asking you to review the host.
Yes.
Okay. I did that with the previous host that I had.
Okay.
It takes up to 14 days.
I do know that.
Okay. But you're telling me that.
So if you know that, why the fuck are you telling me that your concern is I don't have reviews when obviously I'm a new Airbnb customer? None of it made any fucking sense. Okay, so this ties in with the stuff that I talk about where the life of the targeted individual is made 10 times harder than that of the normal person. This is my case in point right here.
I don't have any reviews. I can't have a review because my first time.
She's already suspect as hell because she referred to me as Ochu in that message when it ain't there's no Ochu name anywhere on my Airbnb account. So she's already been made as an agent, okay? So at this point I'm just playing dumb and just going along with it. I just want to get in my room so I can get settled. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm tired as fuck. I had the police encounter that previous night dealing with that stress. And now I had to come here and deal with the stress of this bullshit of being delayed, of checking into my room so I could get some fucking sleep.
With Airbnb.
Okay. I got it. Okay.
Okay.
Which is what they like to deprive you of when you're a targeted individual so that it makes it easy for you to snap when they do all their other shenanigans so they can point their finger and say, we told you he was crazy. Look, he went out and did this mass shooting. We told you. See, it's a continuous cycle of this satanic ritual abuse that they commit against us to try to get us to snap. Sleep deprivation is the number one tactic that they use to try to degrade the health of the target, okay, to try to degrade the mental capacity of the target so that the person cannot operate in a manner that is normal, right? They want to create situations to where you're always highly stressed because that will in turn affect your health, which will in turn affect your brain function and your thinking. Okay? Let me continue.
So what's the problem?
There is no. Okay.
Oh, you're still on the call.
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta get.
Okay.
Back to my call.
All right.
I was on hold.
Okay.
No, she wasn't on hold. The other lady was listening in as she was talking to me or whatever. So it's all a bunch of bullshit. So.
So obviously, this person is up to no good, having these little secret conversations with whoever it is she's talking to. So I'm assuming she's probably talking to Airbnb. But people say that, oh, you're not targeted, you're just paranoid, and this is just not normal. This way of life is not a normal way of life. You don't consistently have problems like this. Damn near every day, there's always something. There's something to that. There's a trend. Clearly there's something. And it's just ridiculous. I've already made my payment for my stay. I don't have to disclose what kind of work that I do. There's nothing in the Airbnb contract or verbiage that says that I have to tell anybody what I do. The only thing that matters is that you make your payment and you follow the house rules, period. Okay? So now this woman, who I believe has been contacted by whoever the handler is that runs this gang stalking program, because yesterday she was very friendly. She was excited about the work she had done for the house. She had done a lot of, decorating and getting things to match, and she was very proud of that, and she was just so happy to show me this, and her demeanor was just so different. It was just so friendly, and now another day and there's all of a sudden there's this nonsense. Oh, well, I have some red flags, you don't have a review. And I eavesdropped on her conversation because I walked in the house. So she gave me the house code. I slept in my vehicle last night because I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be going to their other location because I just like the space there better. So I made an arrangement with her to go ahead and make the switch so that I can transition over there. And now
She mentioned earlier on, I didn't want to go too far back because like I said, there's a part where I was using the restroom. I didn't prepare this video really to like edit anything out or like create a stopping point, but somewhere up in here, this area here, she mentioned that the internet, there have been some residents that have complained about the internet. So that was a concern to me. So that's why I was like, okay, well, we need to do something about that because I cannot afford to have intermittent connection or internet issues because the work that I do solely relies on a strong internet connection. So that's when she made an arrangement with me to get me to another Airbnb that they had in Lakeland, Florida, which is in a whole nother part of Florida. So I had to drive all the way from Winter Haven to Lakeland. So that's why if you see over here, 1 second. It says Lakeland right there and stuff like that. That's the lady. That's the reason why. Because initially I was supposed to be at their property in Winter Haven, but they had internet issues. Okay. They had internet issues and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I can't, I don't want to risk staying there and I'm having internet problems. So that explains that.
So that place wasn't going to be ready until today because they still had a guest that was staying in that room. And, they're going to need time to clean the room up and all that. So she told me that I could be over there by noon today. All right. I didn't sleep in this house last night because I didn't feel the need to tote stuff upstairs and all that. I'm like, it's just one night. So I slept in my vehicle. Okay. So I'm getting up this morning, had to use the restroom.
So that's why the timing over here is kind of weird because, I left here from Kissimmee to go to this B&B, but I didn't really stay. I never got to check in here because she told me about the internet situation. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to sleep in my car until she sets up the reservation for me to go here to Lakeland. Okay. So that's why the timing looks the way that it looks here is because I wasn't going to stay here because the internet was bad. But then she showed me this listing that they had in Lakeland, which looked a lot better to me, the room and the bed and all that. This is more livelier looking than that. That looks kind of morbid or whatever. So the lighting in here looked like it was better. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that instead. So they canceled this reservation, okay, got refunded for that, and then they allowed me to come to this B&B, and their internet over here was still fucked up. So I spent a whole day. How long did I even stay here? This date I don't even think is correct because I think after like the second day I was like, this internet is trash. I am not gonna stay here. So that's when I went to. Okay, so let me see 1 second. 21st, January 22nd of 2022. Oh, so did I stay that long? No, I did not. See, look at the date, December 19, 2021. I went from this B&B to here in Davenport, December 24th through January 22nd. So I was here up until I think Christmas Eve, and then I went over here. So that date is not right. They don't update that. They just leave it as is, I guess. But that's when I went to this B&B December 24th. So I wasn't here long at all because their internet was fucked up. So let me finish playing this.
I already had the codes to the house, put the codes in. I went in through like one of these back areas that's close to the parking area. And I go in there, there's another set of doors that leads off into the kitchen that you have to go through to get to the other part of the house. Those doors.
So this is what I'm talking about here, 1611. I remember that time. What I'm talking about right here is what occurred at the beginning of this video. I had the codes to get in. I was in the Airbnb, the first part of the house, right? But I was sitting in there waiting for her to show up because I had texted her saying that, hey, I'm in like the kitchen or the washroom area, but for some reason the other door that gives me access to go further inside of the house, the code doesn't work. So what's going on? Or the door was locked. So that's why I was in there waiting, and then she comes to the door and knocks on the door, because I guess she can't get in either. So it was just a big fucking just a bunch of bullshit of a mess. 1 second.
There's now that and they still had a back area on the door, and I could hear talking on the other side of the door. So I'm like, I know somebody's in the kitchen, and so I knock on the door, whatever, and nobody opens the door. So I got quiet and I just like listening, and I heard her on the phone with. At first, I thought she was talking to the other host because there are two hosts. She's like the co-host. She assists with, making sure the, the guests have what they need. She, does decorations around the properties and is in charge of getting things fixed and all that kind of thing. So, yeah. I'm sorry, I just lost my damn train of thought. I'm still kind of sleepy.
I was so tired. I had been through so much that night. The CVS bullshit, and then the police encounter, and then now this bullshit. It was all a formula on their end that they had concocted as an attempt to get me to snap and get angry, right? So that was the whole point of orchestrating all these events, was to get me pissed off so they could call law enforcement, they could come pick me up. Okay? But I still stayed cool as a cucumber, and that's what I want to relay to other targeted individuals that go through this. Do not let these people get you to a point to where you go off in such a manner that where they're calling the cops on you. Now, you have every right to be angry and upset. There's nothing wrong with screaming sometimes. You got to know when to pick your battles. You got to pick your battles, right? You can't be aggressive and angry all the time, but there are times to where you have a right to stand up for yourself and express your anger towards an injustice. There's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, you have to just be mindful of your actions and your emotions, and don't let these people get you to that level, because they will call the cops and they will have false charges placed against you, and you'll be drugged through the court system just as I was, and it's none of it is fun. Okay, let me finish playing this.
She's trying to find out about my work and all this kind of thing, and I'm like, I'm not trying to give out my personal information. That is none of your business what kind of work that I do. I'm not indulging in illegal activity. I have an honest job, and I'm able to pay. So what is the problem? Again, she was contacted, someone reached out to her,
and these people continue to still try to make my life a living hell. It's basically what's going on. If I don't have a place to set up by Monday, I'm going to lose my job. Okay, that's what these people are trying to do. So we will see how this turns out. But this is the kind of shit that I have to deal with, and people like.
And do you know how it turned out? Do you want to know what happened? I ended up getting arrested this same day. What a coincidence, right? This was the same day that I was supposed to transition from this Airbnb that I'm at in this current video I'm showing. They had already made arrangements for me to go to the other Airbnb in Lakeland, Florida, but guess what? I never made it because I got arrested. Okay? What did I get arrested for? Let me go to my channel and in the videos real quick, and I can show you what I was doing when I got arrested. 1 second. Let me see. That. Okay. I'm prepared for this. Tell y'all what I was doing. Where is it at? Dang it. I have to go. Always switching up. What do I want? This? I can find it a lot easier. I still didn't. Okay. How to navigate. All right, here we are. So, let me show y'all what I was doing that day I got arrested. Bro, for all that, for all that. Here. This is Winter Haven, Florida, y'all. Okay? When I got arrested, this was the stuff that I was doing. Okay? I was taking footage of these birds. I was taking footage of the environment. It was a beautiful day. It was a nice little lake across the way, and I was actually across the street taking pictures when I got arrested. Okay? Taking pictures and videos of shit like this. Just as the video says, relaxing with the birds. So, okay, so that's what I was doing when I got arrested. So that occurred this day here as I'm narrating what's going on at this B&B here in Winter Haven.
Like me that's going through this nonsense.
Coincidence? No.
This is what we have to deal with. Every day is something. It's always something. Every day. It doesn't matter how positive you try to be or nice or none of that shit matters. That's why I don't try to adjust myself for these people anymore, because it does not matter. You know, why not stand up for yourself all the time? Because they're gonna do what they do anyways. You know, all because you speak your mind and you don't let people. You don't allow for people to mistreat you or bully you or, you know. So, once again, I'm here. Just waiting and trying to figure out what I need to do at this point. I'm just trying to get settled in. I'm trying to get my equipment set up for work. This lady should be over at that other house right about now trying to, get things squared away. But she's on the phone trying to badmouth me and trying to... It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, my first time getting an Airbnb was last month, and I was there for a whole month. I'm new. But she's like, oh, red flag is you don't have no reviews. Like, what? How could I have a review and how could I have a review and
Well, even though I'm not going to be there very long, because the next Airbnb, the reservation, I think it wasn't going to be ready until like 5 p.m. or something like that, some later time. But I at least wanted to still get in and lay in bed and get some sleep, at least. Okay, that's at least what I was trying to do. But she kept stalling and delay, and I believe she was part of the whole setup that got me arrested, because she's asking me all this extra information and all this old kind of shit, and I'm just like, why is this lady asking me all this stuff about what I do? Okay, so that might have tied into when I had that encounter with that lieutenant. You know, he saw the body cam, and he was probably wondering, okay, what is this guy doing with a law enforcement body cam type thing? You know what I mean? So that's how it all ties in. So she's probably an informant herself, and they contacted her because they knew they tailed me to this location because we're tracked and monitored. Okay, they contacted her, and they're trying to get it. She was trying to get information to me about me to relay to whatever entity she was talking to, whether it was law enforcement or whatever. Okay, so it is my belief that that woman was part of the whole fucking setup.
I just fulfilled my Airbnb stay. According to Airbnb, it takes up to 14 days for even the host to see their review. Okay? It takes up to 14 days for that. I wasn't aware that this company, this property is saying that, oh, well, it's a red flag if you don't have a review. Like, there's nothing in their contract, there's nothing in their rules that say anything like that when I signed up for this shit. So now all of a sudden there's this extra shit going on to where there's this extra nonsense going on to where they're trying to nitpick or whatever.
And there's truly a higher power that looks out for me. There's truly a higher power that looks out for us all, because the fact that I was able to get a job where I could move around and not be stationary was very important, because if you stay in one place too long as a targeted individual, you guys know this. If you stay in one place too long, they will try to close in on you. And the fact that by the grace of the Most High that I was presented with an opportunity to have a work from home job, and I'm able to move around the way that I was able to move around, I can only imagine how much grief I was able to evade just by being able to move around in the way that I was doing. Because, like I said, if I had been stationary in one place, I probably wouldn't even be making a video right now. I'd probably be like in prison or something, or dead. Okay.
They want to know where I work. Why is that any of your business? That is none of your business what I do for work. If I choose to keep that to myself, that is my business.
All right, so I'm just gonna go straight to when she comes outside finally. 1 second.
Know that thing. I don't have I was working, so there was a lot of not parked. I didn't have my car on or anything like that. So I already know.
All right, so that is just me babbling on about, this woman giving me a hard time, basically. So let me play this other video where she finally comes outside, and I'm sitting there waiting on her. And then she finally comes outside. Talk to me.
Hi.
And if you notice in my phone, I don't know if you can read it, but I'm thinking to myself, okay, what is there to do in Winter Haven, Florida? I've never been to Winter Haven. You can kind of read it right here. Find things to do uh near near your stay or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna spend a few hours here, hopefully take a nap in and get up and maybe just venture out, just try to enjoy myself and catch some scenery. So that's when I went and did this, okay, and got fucking arrested. So it was all of that shit tied in together, okay? It all tied in together and it was all in the same fucking county, Polk County. All right? This is when she finally comes outside after having me sitting out here waiting.
Hi.
And lo and behold, she got the red and blue on, the police colors, right? The red pants and the blue shirt.
I want to have a conversation with you.
Okay.
Now, Anthony,
Mm-hmm.
there was, and I'm having this conversation with you because there were some things that came up for me during our conversation yesterday, okay? Which was, the first thing was that I was like, hey, I see that you have a Virginia number, right? And you said, yeah, I had to change the whole thing because of somebody. I was like, okay, that's none of my business, right? Then,
See, that's some confidential informant type shit going on right there. Now she's asking me about my phone number being a Virginia phone number. Okay? She's asking me about this. She's trying to get information to give back to law enforcement so they can get as much information and detail about me. They're trying to get intel on me because they're not sure of who I am. Granted, I have a license plate on my vehicle. They can run that. A name could come up, but that don't mean shit. They're FBI agents that have vehicles that don't come back to their name. Okay? So she's trying to play confidential informant to get information from me to give back to the police departments so they can try to set up their whole operation of trying to get me set up. That's exactly what this bitch was doing. Okay? She was part of it the whole fucking time because there's no coincidence later on that day I got picked up on some charges that I never even fucking heard of in my fucking life. I'm sitting out here doing this, okay? I was arrested for resisting an officer without violence because I refused to show him any identification. I had my firearm on my person. He saw that I had the firearm. He was asking me if I had identification or a license or whatever. I didn't give him nothing because I wasn't obligated to because I was not committing a crime. Okay? So they took me in for resisting an officer without violence. Okay? So it was just a ploy to get me locked up. That's all this shit was. That's what all this drama was about. Okay? Ultimately, that's what it's always about. To get the target locked up in jail or prison, to get the target into a mental facility, or to drive the target to the point to where they commit suicide. Those are the main things that this program does. And that's what this whole setup was about. I'll go back and play where she's asking me about my fucking phone number. Like, that's none of your fucking business. My phone number's not even listed on the Airbnb app. The only communication means we have to communicate is through, once again, let me go back here, is through here. Okay? So this bitch she's already a fucking agent. This bitch was part of it too. Let me scroll down and get her face on here too, because this bitch was also part of it. 1 second. She was at the property in Lakeland, Florida. So I actually met her in person after I had got out of jail. Okay? So it's no fucking coincidence. And let me say this is not a black or white thing. Okay? It's not like I have, oh, it's just a bunch of Indian people stalking and harassing me, or a bunch of black people stalking. It's every race of, they use people from every race, every walk of life. So it's not anything having to do with race stuff. Now there is an undertone of uh, of KKK type shit. There is an undertone of that with it, but the people that they use are of every different race and ethnicity that you can think of. I've been harassed by. Okay, so let me go ahead and play this back where she's inquiring about my fucking phone number. They want to know who you are so bad to make sure you're not some kind of undercover Fed or investigator trying to expose their crimes so that cases can be brought against them. So that's why they watch you, just like it says in the Bible. The wicked watches the righteous and seeks to slay him. That's exactly what they do. These people take crafty counsel against you, try to get you hemmed up so they can try to destroy you. That's their whole purpose and point. See, Satan can't blatantly kill you, but he can set up the environment or the stage, if you will, for it to happen. Okay, and it's all based and incumbent upon your responses, right? And the control that you have over yourself and the powers that you have to, deliver yourself from the situation, so to speak, if that makes sense.
I want to have a conversation with you.
Okay.
Now, Anthony.
Uh-huh.
There was, and I'm having this conversation with you because there were some things that came up for me during our conversation yesterday, okay? Which was, the first thing was that I was like, hey, I see that you have a Virginia number, right? And you said, yeah, I had to change the whole thing because of somebody. I was like, okay, that's none of my business, right? Then, when you first answered the question of saying, I was like, I always ask the question.
All right, so that's that. So again, this is the reason why the targeted individual has to switch up. You have to switch up your routines. Sometimes you may have to change your number. Sometimes you may have to use different email addresses because these people are constantly on your trail. And the reason why they're constantly on your trail is because they're trying to set you up to destroy you. So you have to be smart and switch up your information from time to time. She was trying so hard to find out, okay, if I came from Texas, why do I have a Virginia number? See, you see how it throws them off? And that's what you want. You want them to be confused. You don't want them to figure nothing out. So you have to do little shit like that. You live in one state, but then your phone number is a different state. And it has nothing to do with you being shady. We are having crimes committed against us, and we have to do whatever it is that we do to protect our privacy and to protect our information because there are people that are out there that are set on trying to destroy us. So that's the whole purpose in doing that. But they get so fucking paranoid because they know they doing dirt and they don't want to get caught. They fear the camera. I've said this before. I liken the camera to the cross, like in the horror movie where the people in the movie are trying to get away from the vampire, and the vampire corners them, and the people put up the cross of the vampire, and the vampire backs off or it stops the vampire in its tracks. That cross I like to liken to the camera because the camera will show the truth. And oftentimes, okay, and then when you can expose the truth, it stops them in their tracks and they've been caught. It's like a deer in the headlight, right? So that's why I like having the cameras that I have to document these cases because if we didn't have these cameras, my God, can you imagine how many of us would be in jail or prison or dead or in a mental facility? Because that's what they try to do with us. So it's just very important to document a lot of this stuff that goes on around us because you never know what they're trying to lead you off into. As you can see, all this stuff that occurred, it started at in Kissimmee at this CVS. It went from that drama to the drama of this police encounter in Winter Haven.
What are you doing?
to the drama of dealing with this Airbnb host who's giving me a fucking hard time and not letting me, you know, check in, to me getting arrested for doing this shit. You see how it leads up into the ultimate trap? Okay, so you got to be very fucking careful. And this is all concrete evidence of what I've been talking about, okay? So let's see here. Yeah, that's all I got. Well, how long was this video? I didn't want to make it too long. Damn, I didn't even want it to be like 20 minutes, but that's all I got for now. I just wanted to share this with you guys. Damn, is there something else I wanted to mention as well? I did that. I showed that. We did I played the Airbnb customer service call. What else? So yeah, I got plenty of other videos that I'm going to be posting of other experiences and encounters. Again, for educational purposes, please like and subscribe. I don't care about having, you know, oh, I got more viewers than somebody else. I don't give a shit about that. The only reason why I'm saying like and subscribe is because I want to get the algorithms going. I want to get this information out to as many people as possible. And that's just it. My channel's not monetized. I don't get paid to do any of this shit. I put it out there to help other people, because when I started experiencing this harassment and I came into awareness that I was being gang stalked, I looked to the internet and to YouTube to try to find answers and to try to find good channels that I could relate to, and you know, that I could say, okay, this person is legitimately going through the same thing I'm going through, and their information is helping me. So that's ultimately what I'm trying to do, is to try to put information out there that will help other people. That's it. Okay. I got some other good videos that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So please like and subscribe. And that's all I got. Thanks for watching.